Well, hello. Hi, everybody. Oh, I'm back with another video. Um, this one isn't about traveling, and it is not about military stuff. We are getting very vulnerable today. Very vulnerable and open because your girl hired a matchmaker. Yes, she hired a matchmaker, and it was a matchmaking company called threedayrule. And so, most likely this will be a two-parter type video because it can get a little lengthy. So, a lot of people ask me like, "So how's your matchmaking journey going? Like, how was that?" And I've gotten this question frequently, and even through like my research on YouTube, like my initial research, I like to go to YouTube for like finding out people's reviews on certain companies and things like that. I did not find anything in regards to people's experiences with matchmaking. And I think a lot of that has to do with it being either taboo or just being very vulnerable and emotional about like their journey and finding love. And so I said, what better platform than my own vlog to come out and talk about my matchmaking experience. Also, the reason why I wanted to do this was because I'm not the only one out here doing matchmaking. There are people that have hired a matchmaker, or there are just some people that are just like, I don't know if I can afford it. I don't know if I can do it. Like, I don't know if it's worth it. And so definitely wanted to come here and just allow just to be open about my journey. And I did the online dating apps, gone to different like events and stuff. And so I said, you know what? I've put so much time, money, and effort into my career and focusing on that. Why not put time, money, and effort into my dating life? And something that I understood and I understand is that it's not just going to fall in your lap. That's not how this works. Like, dating, it takes effort. It takes going outside and stuff. And I just wanted a little bit of like a kick. Like, go out there, do it. And I did that through hiring a matchmaker. And so I have notes, and so because I want to be as thorough as possible. Because yeah, a lot of the girlies and a lot of the guys, they have questions. They're like, what's your experience like? And so I just want to put it out there, but I want to make sure it's thorough as possible. My matchmaking research. So I knew that I wanted to go with a Black owned matchmaker. I said that off top. So I started my journey, my research journey, because I like to do a lot of research before I make a big investment in anything. I took that same effort and that same energy and put that into my dating and matchmaking experience. So I interviewed about 5 different companies. I looked at about 10 different companies and narrowed my list down to about 5. Within that, majority of them were Black owned matchmaking companies. Some of them were like seen on TV and things like that. However, I did not select or choose a Black matchmaking service. Because just to kind of get in the door, and to be very transparent and open and honest, to get in the door, there were consultation fees before, just to even have an initial consultation was like upwards of about $200 from different companies that I was looking at. And so that didn't fit for me, because I wanted to make sure that I knew like what I was getting into before I even put an investment up like that. Alongside of that, a lot of the Black owned companies were out in the DMV area. They were on the East Coast, which I highly like. If you are in the DMV area or on the East Coast, I highly recommend going through like one of those matchmaking services. How I did my research was just Google. I went through Yelp. I went through YouTube. I did a lot of my research. I did not find a lot on YouTube. Like I said before, I did a lot of research via Google. One of the terms that I used was Black owned matchmaking services, or just matchmaking services, just to broaden it. So I am based out in California in the IE, so there's not a lot of like services like that out here. So I knew that I was gonna have to venture out to like LA, Orange County, San Diego, any of like the major cities around me, and I was open to that. I didn't like stop myself from that. I interviewed with another service based out of LA, and they were fantastic, phenomenal, loved them. Their price tag was just a lot. I'm gonna get into the price ranges. So for initial consultation, some of them actually do not require payment for initial consultation. So you fill out your intake form, which I did with 10 companies. Fill out an intake form, and it's not too long. It's not too time consuming. Again, you got to look at dating like it's a part of you. Like, I desire to be a wife, so, and I desire to date, and so I got to put the effort in there. So filled out like 10 different intake forms, and a sales associate reached out to me from each of the companies, and I interviewed the companies. So I had a list of questions that I had for them. What's your success rate? What are the type of men that you have available? And then some of the questions that they do ask is, what are the type of men that you're interested in? And like, who are you? Like, they'll, ask all of those questions. Who are you? A lot of the time, the intake conversations are either via video, or it is based off of like just phone call. A lot of them, and I prayed on heightened discernment during this time as well, because a lot of them, they were very much so sales pitchy, like very much so 5-minute interview. And then they were like, okay, this is the pricing. They got down to it. And I didn't like that approach. I wanted the matchmaking service to figure out who I was and what I was about and what I wanted in a partner. And so the phone calls that took 20 to 30 minutes, they were very much so in touch with, and they wanted to get to know me more. So that's something that I would recommend, is going to the consultations with your questions as well, because you're investing in it and you're spending money on it. So go there with questions. You're pretty much asking like, what's your success rate? Tell me about, like, do you have any couples that have gotten married out of this experience, if that's something that you want? Like, what are some success stories that you have? Tell me about my matchmaker, things like that, like stuff like that. So I came to the forefront with questions, and then I also went ahead and created a spreadsheet for the different companies, listed out the pros and cons, and so it was down to 2 companies. The one that was out in LA was very expensive, but provided a lot of high quality and high quality men, is what I like to term it, or high value men, not in the sense of like their price tag or anything like that, like how much money they make. I don't care. Like it was more so of like they were illustrating like what they look like, but then also like the background and how you are compatible with that person based on your professional experience, and based on the things that you're looking for. Like it was again kind of sales pitchy, but at the same time too, like it was nice to be able to see the type of men and the type of caliber of men that you would essentially be introduced to. So that was nice. Had a consultation with 3-Day Rule, and the price tag was great. The conversation was great. They wanted to get to know me. I walked away from it very excited and happy. So I had top three. I had a top three like situation and decided on 3-Day Rule. Took me a couple of days, but I did pray on it, and I said, you know what? Okay. So this was November timeframe, I want to say. It was November timeframe, where I was like calculating this in my head. And then December, I was just like, okay, I'm feeling it. I think I want to do it. And then I went on vacation, and I was like, let's give it a minute. Let's give it a minute. And then I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and do it. Let's do it. So it was at like the top of the year, the end of the year, but top of the year, I was like, we're going to move forward, and we're going to move forward with 3-Day Rule. So I chose 3-Day Rule. And I spoke with the consultant, and she was texting me back and forth. We were texting, and I told her that I wanted to start in February. And she was just like, okay, like we have a special going on right now for Christmas, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I don't care about none of that. Like February is where you'll get me. And so it was great. She was like, okay, perfect. Once you sign the contract, I'll get you hooked up with your matchmaker. It was boom, boom, boom. What I really, really liked was the fact that they had a photo shoot associated with their contract. So you have a photo shoot, and you get 2 sessions for dating coaching sessions. So you get 2 dating coaching sessions within the contract as well. And if you want to extend those dating sessions, you would have to coordinate with the therapist. So what it is the dating coach was actually an LMFT, which is a licensed marriage and family therapist. And so, but she specialized in dating coaching. Yes, she specialized in dating coaching. And I was just like, this is amazing. Like, this is wonderful. I spoke with the consultant, signed the contract, paid the coin. So I did the 3-month. I did the 3-month batch. So they have like 3 months, 6 months, and then a full year. Or it's like 3 months, 9 months, and a full year. I was like, I'll do 3. And then if I want to re-up, I'll re-up. So I started off with 3. And I was just like, yeah, let's do it. So paid the money, had the consultation, and then I got to meet my matchmaker. So my contract has started February 1st. She introduced me to my matchmaker because there's work that needs to be done before you could just go out there and play and date. There's work to be done. And so the matchmaking process, so when she starts searching for matches and sends you a match, that actually starts February 1st. The photo shoot needs to be done before then. And the dating coaching, they do not allow for you to even go on a first date without having a dating coaching session, which I thought was top tier. I really like that. Like, okay, let's figure out your traumas and your triggers before you even go out there and start dating, because you may not even be ready, right? So I really, really like that. So I was introduced to Stacy. Stacy is my matchmaker. Great woman. She is out of Los Angeles. She's based out of Los Angeles. And I got to talk with her and meet up with her. And it was fantastic. She was just pretty much like, what are you looking for? Like, what does that look like? She asked me to send her pictures of either my exes or celebrities, and I was like, you gonna get the pictures of celebrities because I don't have pictures of my exes in my phone because they're my exes. Like, you gonna get these celebrities. And so I tend to not have like a type as far as look is concerned. And so I sent over pictures of like my celebrity crushes and things like that so that she could get the ground running on the type of guys that I like. We also had a conversation, and she was like, what are your standards that you're looking for, and what are your top 3 non-negotiables? So your top 3 must-haves and your top 3 can-nots, and should not haves. And so sent that over to her, and she was like, we're gonna get you set up with a photographer out in your area. So we ended up getting a photographer, Karsten Photography. I'll leave her information down below as well. She is fantastic, top tier. Made an appointment with her. Hair aligned great, makeup aligned great. I was even able to do a makeup trial. Shout out to my makeup artist. She's top tier. Love her. I'll leave her information down below as well if you're in the IE area. But yeah, it was fantastic. Showed up to the photographer. She also offers hair and makeup services as well. I'm very particular when it comes to my hair and my makeup, so I said no, I'm booking my own people. Ended up going to Del Mar, and the photography session was so great. It was a confidence booster. So if you are something that I will say in regards to matchmaking, if you're someone who deals with low self-esteem, the photo shoot will put you over the edge, right? It's like, oh yes. And I'm not a big like photo type of person. I'm just not like, take it in action or something, or I'm gonna do one little pose. I was nervous for this photo shoot, and she was like, pose like this, pose like that. It was awesome. And she talked me through it, and it was a huge confidence booster. So highly recommended. Like, wow, I was even amazed by the photos. Okay. Like I'll show some at the end or somewhere up in here. So yes, amazing. Photo shoot was awesome. Ended the photo shoot, and I actually took myself out on a date. Date for one, please. Went to South of Nixon Laguna after the photo shoot because I was feeling myself, so why not? I met with the matchmaker, and the photos were actually ready by the time I had my second appointment with my matchmaker. And so by that time, she was like, let's go ahead and pick the top 4. So I told her, I said, all of them are actually pretty, so just go for it. Like, just pick the 4. So she chose the 4 for me. And when we sat down and we talked, she also asked me like about my dating history and things like that. She talked to me about like love bombing and submarining and breadcrumbing and all of those different things, and just wanted to know about my dating history. So that was great. She went through the pictures, and she was like, okay, like your contract starts February 1st. So I'll start looking and then get things out to you. After that, I met with my dating coach. And she was dropping gems during the entire session. It was a 1-hour session, and in the contract you get 2 sessions. So, she was talking about feminine energy versus masculine energy. And you can use those sessions as well at any time throughout the contract. And so you signed up for it. You can talk with her, even if you're like in a relationship and you say like, oh, I want to use that like last one as like relationship counseling for yourself, you can use it then. And so even though my contract is officially done, because it was done at the end of April, even though my contract was done, I still have a session available. So I'll be reaching out to her soon about like my dating experience and things like that. So I met up with the dating coach. That went well. And then Stacy then started the journey of my matches. The dating coach actually reported back to my matchmaker and was like, she's open, she's ready to do this. And I was extremely excited. I went into the process excited. When you have dating coaching and she's dropping gems on like dating and different types of guys that you'll be, dating, and you're just, it's an exciting time. Stacy got in touch with me. I think it was February the 16th or 17th. And she was like, I have somebody for you. And I was like, wait, what? And she's like, yeah. So I waited about 3 weeks after my initial conversation with her. And I was like, ooh, I need patience. And I had to remind myself that this is a marathon, not a sprint. And so I had to like really pray through it, because I was like, this process is gonna put you through it, girl. And it did. And so I was just so excited. Like, she was just like, I have your first match. And she sent them to me via email, like pictures in like their profile and lined up and what they look like. And date number 1, I'm gonna go into part 2 with my the different types of the plethora, like the dating. We're gonna go into part 2 of that and what that looked like. And I keep you in my heart is where you are. I still think of you.